In this video we are going to see about an interesting topic. God's time. To know more about this, let us look into John chapter 2. The wedding at Cana. On the third day there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. 2. Jesus also was invited to the wedding with his disciples. 3. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." 4. And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." If we look at the verse 1 and 2, we come to know that there was a wedding at Cana. And Mary, the mother of Jesus, was there at the wedding feast. And Jesus was also invited to the wedding feast with his disciples. And if we look at verse 3, we see that Mary hears that the wine runs out, which means that there was no wine to be served to the guests. Then this is going to be a great shame for the family, so she goes to Jesus and says that they have no wine. And we can see the reply of Jesus in verse 4. In verse 4 Jesus says, "4 And Jesus said to her, Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." If you look at this verse very carefully, in this verse, Jesus says, "My hour has not yet come." This means, Jesus was waiting for his time. You might now ask why he have to wait. Why don't Jesus perform his miracle when her mother came and called him? But my friends, Jesus waited for his time. Do you know why God waits? God waits for many reasons. For example, if you look at the life of Lazarus, when Jesus hears that Lazarus was very serious, he waited for 4 days, and after 4 days, he goes to the tomb of Lazarus and raised him up on the 4th day. For what Jesus has to wait for 4 days, you know what, friend? Jesus waited for his name to be glorified, to glorify the name of the Lord, because if Jesus went there on the very first day when Lazarus was sick, the people or those who hate Jesus wouldn't be taking it as a big miracle. They would be saying that Lazarus was just sick and he had recovered, so there is nothing to be amazed by this, or Jesus has not done anything. So this is what the reason is. Jesus waited to make his name glorified by this miracle. And another thing is to test your faith. God waits for testing your faith, that how much you trust, so this is the another reason. So my dear friend, don't let your hearts be troubled when it seems like delaying, for our God is faithful, and his time is perfect. And the later part of the story, the wedding at Cana, we can read it from verse 6 to 12. Verse 6 to 12. 6 Now there were 6 stone water jars there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. 7 Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." And they filled them up to the brim. 8 And he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast." So they took it. 9 When the master of the feast tasted the water now become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called the bridegroom. 10 And said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and when people have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now." 11 This, the first of his signs, Jesus did at Cana in Galilee, and manifested his glory. And his disciples believed in him. 12 After this he went down to Capernaum, with his mother and his brothers and his disciples, and they stayed there for a few days.